to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, like, and share this video, and let's grow this channel, guys. So in today's video, if any of those scenarios that I'm going to describe, you feel like you've been in any one of them, you feel like your faith has been tested so many times, so you'd rather not have it than be disappointed. So have you ever been in a scenario or situation? Have you ever been in a situation where this one time you wanted something so bad and you felt like, I can't get this thing on my own. So the only way I can get this thing is if the favor of the Lord is upon me, right? And then you go and you go ahead and you pray. You pray so hard. Your faith is at its highest. You're like, it's done. You pray so hard. Bam. The thing that you expected God to do for you didn't happen. What you expected to happen, it didn't happen. You put your faith as high as I don't know. So you remember that very moment to you is just a whole disappointment. You're disappointed in what God is doing. I really wanted this so badly, God. Why didn't it happen? That whole scenario, that whole situation. And then the next time when you want something so badly, you choose not to go back to God, because the last time you put your hopes high and put your faith on the fullest blast, the only faith that you had, when you put it and trusted God, you were disappointed. So what will you do? You'd rather choose, okay, this time I would rather wait for it to just happen. And guess what? After you waited for it to just happen, it happens. So what are you supposed to think now? You're not thinking, okay, when I put my faith into it, God doesn't listen. But when I'm just, waiting for the coincidence, it's likely to happen. So your faith, you're no longer building any of your faith. You're no longer working on your faith, because your faith leads to disappointment. Your faith in God leads to God disappointing you. Sometimes it's just small things. So you just go like, I still respect God. I still honor God. And I know God loves me. All those kind of things. But you can't trust him with difficult and, just different situations, because you know that when you put your whole faith and your prayer life on the line, things don't go your way. So today, that's why I wanted to talk about this, and I wanted to try and get you back on track. We've all been through that. And you know what? If you look at everyone in the Bible that they had their faith tested, the Israelites, Abraham, Moses, all those people, it's not like they didn't have situations that, surprised them and they went like, okay, God, I put my whole faith into it. I put my whole emotions, my whole heart, my whole mind into this. I believed so much that it was going to happen, but it didn't happen. So if you can't help me with that, next time when I have a big decision to make, next time when I want something so badly, I can't come back to you and pray and put my whole faith into it because I'm scared. The other time you put your whole faith into it and things didn't work out. So this time you're deciding, nah, I can't put my faith into this because I don't know what God will do. I don't know how God operates. His plan might not be my plan. The desire that he's put into me might not be the desire that he has for me. So I'm so scared to get disappointed. So I'd rather not pray about it. I'd rather not include him. I'd rather just go ahead, and have my life. The devil is after your faith. The devil will steal your faith. If it means you going through one disappointment and forever thinking that God is the worst and God can't be trusted with those things, the devil will try that. And it's not going to be considered as the kind of faith that Abraham had, if it's faith that is conditional. Never get to a position where you feel like, if only I didn't have faith, I wouldn't be this disappointed. That's the devil lying to you. The first time that you try to plant a seed of faith, the first time that you give your whole faith into it, is usually a time when you want something so bad. So that at the end of the day, when your faith is at its highest, you get so disappointed to such an extent that you give up on having faith in God. So that next time, when you have something that you want so bad, you can't trust God because God is a disappointer. That whole thing. If I said something and it sounds so familiar and it feels so familiar, you've been through those thoughts where you go like, you know what, let me just pray, but I won't put my whole hopes high. I won't trust God too much with it, because usually when I do that, he disappoints me. So I wanted you to go back. Go back to your faith. That type of faith that you had the last time, have it again. That type of faith that had the highest hope, I want you to have it again. You know what will happen? A scenario that might make you feel like you're, ashamed and laughed at for your whole faith and everything, and you feel like God disappointed you. Observe what happens soon after. Observe everything that will be happening after. Observe all the goodness that God does for you, even when that thing doesn't happen. Guys, I'm begging you. Anytime that you feel like, okay, fine, I've been disappointed, I had my faith at its highest hopes, please do not all of a sudden get blind and no longer focus on what's happening on your life. Please observe what happens soon after that disappointment. Observe how God blesses you. Observe what will be happening. Try to see what God is doing in your life. Don't be blinded. Watch out for the blessing that comes after you've had so much faith. Watch out for the blessing that God had in place for you that you had never noticed that is coming your way. Watch out for that blessing. Don't get to a point where you feel like, okay, I've been disappointed. I no longer notice what God is doing in my life because I feel like, okay, when I had faith, it disappointed me. I really wanted that first-class degree. I didn't get it, but I had faith that I'll get it. You know, stuff like that. Observe the other things that God is doing in your life, because with your faith, that faith doesn't go unnoticed. That faith that feels like, okay, it's been turned into disappointment. Watch out for the blessing. Guys, watch out for the blessing. I promise you, one day you look at it and you go like, it wasn't as disappointing as I thought it would. I was celebrated more than I thought I would be. You know, sometimes you find out, okay, I want to use an example of a first-class degree. You find out, okay, I've paid for this, I've had so much faith in this, and then all of a sudden, you don't get that first class, you know, and you really want it. It's a whole life scenario where you go like, I really want it so badly, and I'm going to put my whole faith into it. And then all of a sudden, you don't get it. You're disappointed at that very moment when you hear that you didn't get a first class, things didn't work out, you know, get disappointed, but watch out. God saw that faith. Of course, the devil is trying to use that scenario, that opportunity, and grab it and say, oh, look, it didn't work. Please, guys, watch out. Look at it. What is it that you didn't expect to happen that in fact happened when you didn't get that first class? You see people celebrating you more. You see opportunities getting more open, encouraging you to pray, and I'm encouraging you to stop those demons from taking away your blessings, from locking and shutting doors that God wants open. You know, I'm encouraging you to pray, but I'm also encouraging you to continue with your faith. May your faith never be shaken. If you're praying for something and it's something very big, please, child of God, trust God. Guys, listen. If you see yourself that, okay, fine, I'm praying for this and I'm so scared of disappointment, at that very moment, rebuke the devil. Rebuke the devil who is trying to lie to you and tell you that, okay, if you get disappointed, then what? It is impossible to please God without faith. The devil is after your faith, not after your first class, not after your gift, not after that thing that you're praying for. He's after your faith more than he is after the thing that you're praying for. So always remember that, and then stick to your faith. Hold on to that faith. No matter what, hold on to that faith, guys. No matter what, hold on to that faith. And notice, if that thing didn't happen as you expected it to happen, notice how God is blessing you around that whole scenario. Notice how God still knew what's best for you. Try to observe and say, okay, this didn't happen, but, you know, people appreciate, the love that I'm getting, the appreciation that I'm getting, the opportunities that I'm getting. Okay, maybe I prayed for it, but it wasn't necessary. You know, that whole thing. And you know what? When you get disappointed, trust me, guys, I have been in such scenarios where I look at it and I go like, I really prayed. God, I really prayed. I think I told you guys about the issue of my phones in the first video that I ever made, the video on forgiveness, which I'll leave the link up here. You see it coming across the screen. In that video, I explained how it was unexplainable how I lost my phones. Like, it was so unexplainable. I first lost my awesome phone, you know, that my dad had given me. And I was so excited. And it was like in 2 weeks. Or I think I had it 3 weeks or less. And when I had it, all of a sudden it got stolen. In an unexplainable way. In a way that doesn't even make sense. In a way that seemed like God was like, go ahead, thief, and steal her phone. It was in a way that I couldn't understand. Like, I tried to ask God. I tried to get answers. Up to today, I can't say God has said, that phone had to go because of this. No, but trust me, I've seen the power of God just through that. You know, then the second time, my phone got stolen again, my other one. When I got it like in 3 weeks or less than that, and it would be an upgrade from the other one. And then all of a sudden, it's stolen again. I couldn't understand the way it was stolen. It was it was just out of this world. You wouldn't understand. You would just think this girl has bad luck. You know, all those things. I was so devastated. I was like, how? I tried to ask God. I knew that I can't just say, God, I no longer trust you because I knew that I can't say I no longer believe in God all of a sudden. But then that part of me that trusted God with my gadgets was dying. Because the next time when I got that phone, that upgrade, I used to pray for all my gadgets. I used to go like, God, protect my gadgets. God, what? I used to pray. So when it got stolen, my faith was shaken. My faith was really shaken, guys. And I remember going back to God and asking him, I was like, God, why? Okay, let it be found. Maybe you want to show me your power through this. Come on, let my phone be found. I remember those days. I couldn't understand. It didn't make sense to me. I was like, how can this be happening to me? You know, there are worse scenarios out there. I'm just putting this one because this is one of the cases that really, you know, shook me in my life, and it was really painful because it happened twice. I mean, guys, it happened twice, a whole 2 times. In strange ways, my phones were stolen. Like, it didn't make sense. And I can't say God once pinpointed it and said, their phones got stolen because of that. No, that didn't happen. But I can tell you now that was just a ladder. It was a ladder. I can tell you now that was a ladder. Those situations were ladders for me. There were situations that moved me from one place to another, one place of maturity to another, from one place to another. Now, wow, those scenarios were just so different. Like, they taught me so much on faith, but, you know, I had to cry too much, stuff like that. It didn't make sense at that time. I've learned to trust God because of those 2 scenarios. I've learned to go like, God, this thing got stolen in a very strange way, but there's definitely something coming for me, because this way, the way it's happening, I put my all into it. I prayed about it. I did, but then it didn't happen. So I'm trusting you. That's what it means. It's not like you saying I trust God is you saying, if God does this for me, only if God does this for me, he's a good God. No, sometimes you have to go that extra mile for God and say, God, now I'm putting you in a tight spot. Because even when this terrible thing has happened to me, I'm still trusting you. Even when this thing is like this, I'm still trusting you for something out of this. Like, I'm going to trust you throughout. So I don't care how many times people think I'm unfortunate. I'm still trusting you, God. You know, if you do that, like, I think you start to have what I would love to call Abraham's faith. Many of the things that he had to go through, the times when it doesn't even make sense. Why should I kill my own son? That's probably Abraham asking himself that, but he just goes ahead and does it. Like, it'll be in so many scenarios where you just go ahead and say, okay, I'll just have the faith. Why did I not get a chance? Why didn't God give me a son? Okay, now that God has given me a son, why would he want me to kill that son? You know, all those questions, but he never lost his faith. So guys, that's why I wanted us to be encouraged today. It's not your scenario is not your thoughts, what you're thinking, hey, this is probably me going through it. You're not being weird. We all go through those scenarios where we ask ourselves, but why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to go through this devastating moment? Why do I have to go through this difficult thing? And I wanted to encourage you, child of God, stick to your faith. I'll put the verse here. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. If that verse is there, why wouldn't the devil be fighting you and your faith? Like, why? You have to learn from it. You have to grow your faith like that. You need to really know that you have faith. Come rain, come thunder. You know, you should go and read Romans 4, guys. I will just read one verse, which is verse 22, that says, that is why his faith was counted to him as righteousness. We were talking about Abraham in Romans 4. They were talking about his faith. His faith ended up being counted as righteousness. Because why? You read the whole chapter will be explaining to you why Abraham was a man of faith and why his faith ended up being called righteousness. It was in positions where he didn't understand, when it didn't make sense, when it was all confusing. It was in those positions that he chose to still have faith. So I want you to have faith, no matter what the outcome is. You trusted God with your all, and all of a sudden it didn't happen. Next time you're like, you know what? I'm better off without trusting God, because when I trust God, he doesn't come through. So I'm begging you, child of God, do not lose your faith. Come rain, come thunder. Observe how God is transforming your life. Observe how God is really for you and never against you. Instead, I would love for you to change your prayers and say, God, fix my desires. May I desire the things that you have in plan for me. Lord, I have faith. When it gets shaky, when it gets so difficult, help me, give me strength, oh God. Do not let the devil steal your faith. No matter what happens, guys, let's stick to our faith. The devil is a liar. He will try to steal your faith. You know, you feel like, okay, if I didn't even put my all into this and have faith, maybe it was going to be better. No, No, guys, look at you right now. What's God doing for you after that thing? What's God blessing you with? You know, realize that, no, that thing was just a phase to shake my faith, but I will not stop having faith. Without faith in God, you're most likely not to have a stable relationship with Him. You are most likely to take Him as that God that is just a God for gifts. You're not going to work on your relationship with God. You're not going to trust Him with anything. You're not going to trust Him with your heart. You're not going to trust Him with so many things in your life because you think that He disappoints. Be very careful. The devil is more concerned about your relationship with God. And he's worried that if your faith grows, then your relationship with God is likely to be more stable. It's likely you are likely to trust God more and love Him more. So guys, be careful. Do not, and I beg you, do not allow those situations and circumstances like that don't make sense shake your faith. No matter what, know that God is on your side. It doesn't seem like it sometimes, but He is always, I mean always on your side. So you better pray, guys. You better pray and stay in prayer so that your faith is not shaken. Now it's your responsibility to tell yourself, to be firm about it, to be like, okay, everyone else seems to go through the same thing. Say, God, increase my faith. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And I'll also believing you should be looking at the links that I'll be putting on the screen above. You should watch those videos and watch the videos in the end and watch more of my videos. Let's go this channel, guys.